Hello and welcome to a new series here on Wexford GATV called On the Couch. And on the couch for the first episode are Benny and Caroline Jordan. But first of all, just a word about the sponsors of this new series, Murphy's Furniture, who have been supporters of Wexford GA for many years. Murphy's have two shops in Wexford, one in Gorey and one in Wexford Town, along with a huge range of furniture, sofas, beds, mattresses. Murphy's are also launching their carpet and flooring ranges across their 5 shops this December, including in their stores in Carlow, Naas and Dublin. Brothers Nicky and Anthony Murphy are proud sponsors of Wexford GA and are delighted to now offer flooring to the people of Wexford. So Benny and Caroline, you're both very welcome here to the first episode, and thanks very much for agreeing to be here.
No bother, thanks for having us. So I guess we start at the start. Benny, you've just won your first senior hurling medal.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us where it all started?
Yeah, look, it started many years ago now. Back when I was four years of age, so my father would brought me to the pitch, and I remember vaguely running laps of the pitch in Ferns, and Dominic Murphy was over it back then, and the strength and conditioning back then was 25 laps and straight into a game. So yeah, that's when it all started for me anyway.
And what about yourself, Caroline?
Under 10s when we started camogie, and would have been hurling coaching that time in the school. Actually Benny's father John Joe went around doing it, and Marnie Burke and Pater Myden, they all went around hurling coaching, so that's where we're all introduced to hurling there.
Very good.
There must have been, Caroline, a great buzz around Owlert at the time with the number or the amount of talent that you had coming through.
Yeah, in my class there was Rory Jacob, Des Myden, Stephen Doyle, Keith Roster. We were all in that class, and God, sure, it was hell for leather at break time. Out hurling, especially hurling coaching, it was amazing. Winning mini sevens, record leagues, both boys and girls. So there was always something going on in the school. Really good.
And do you think, mixing boys mixed with the girls?
Oh, definitely. It was a competition. It was, because when the boys were winning the record league, sure, the girls were wanting to win it. And the same with the mini sevens. And even underneath there was Ursula, there was Mary, Una. The names are just, you can keep going with the amount of talent that was there.
Yeah.
And it's still going, of course. It's only a few days ago that Owlert were in another Leinster camogie final, and really long success in All-Ireland champions a couple of years ago, and umpteen county titles.
Yeah, I know it's unbelievable to think that Mary, Una and Ursula were still going up today, and were unfortunate to get bet that day. They only got bet by a point, but there's still a lot of talent there coming through in both Owlert and the Balloch.
And Benny, we spoke about your laps of the field, but where did the game start for you? Where did that sort of stuff begin?
What do you mean the game as regards?
Like, what age would you have started now playing actual games, and what would be maybe your earliest memories of playing a game even?
My earliest memory is playing. I think it could have been under 12 or under 13 against the Dublin team, and I was about 1.5 foot tall, and I was brought onto a lad about 6 foot. He'd no helmet and his front tooth was missing. So that was my introduction to hurling, and I'll never forget it. I was minded that day by Elsie Dunbar, Lord mercy on her, a great Ferns woman, and a woman I would have idolised growing up, and I'll never forget it. As soon as the game was over, she was over to me and asked me if I was alright, and I actually have a picture from that game with Elsie. So yeah, that's my first memory, and it was a fearful one.
Well, you probably would have started much earlier. Had you dragged her into matches and
played
for another great club.
Yeah, Cloney, yeah.
Have to get that mention in there.
Yeah, sure, Daddy kicked it off for me. Sure, how could you not grow up hurling mad? He was hurling coaching 24/7. He had us underage, along with other great men in Ferns, and I just remember being brought to Semple Stadium, '93, the league finals, the replays, and Crow Park every day, and it was just hurling, and it continued for a good number of years after. Yeah.
Probably still continue.
Yeah, we're still here anyway.
Your biggest fan.
Yeah.
And you were fortunate enough as well, Benny, I suppose, to have a reasonably good group of lads to go up along with, to play with and be reasonably successful up along. Who were the lads, for the benefit of those who don't know, that would have been on those underage teams with you?
Yeah, sure. Look at, I was growing up and there was lots of talent as well as Owlert, you know. So there was myself, James Tonks, Pádraig Ryan, John Breen, sure, Johnny Bitsy, Johnny Dwyer, Bitsy, Tommy Dwyer. Like, look at, there's endless amount of talent and serious hurlers, and I think we've won everything growing up as well. And sure, the list of names Caroline named out there, they were our biggest rivals back in the day in underage. You know, we had many a great battle, you know.
And your own playing career, Caroline?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be the captain of the first Féile na Gael that ever came to Outer Camogie, where they won the 5 in a row. I played in Belfield that day, and I think Benny, you were there, weren't you? He was playing as well somewhere in Féile.
I was marching alongside her somewhere.
So
pull on her
out. So I was lucky enough to captain that, and I had played Camogie, senior Camogie with Outer, winning 6 medals. We've Leinster, 2 Leinster, played junior with Wexford, so I've had a good career in my day too, playing Camogie.
You've 5 more to go then, Benny, to catch up.
Yeah, I have 5, so I'll only be going till I'm 45.
And does Caroline take out the medals every...
No.
You don't polish them every Sunday morning?
No, she's
rubbing in your face like
she's
she
very humble that way now. She's very humble that way. I'd never see the medals, but I'd often get the simple reminder that she has X amount of it.
And is your aim to catch up on her?
No, I'm happy now with the one.
I think.
Well, I'm happy so far.
So far.
Yeah, if I don't get another one, I'll retire happy. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And I suppose talk to us a little bit about this year. We'll come back to other things as well, but talk to us a little bit about this year and why was it a bit different, or why was it a bit more successful this year than previous years, do you think?
I think this year the difference was, I think everybody bought into it 100%. Everybody had a role to play, and everybody bought into it on and off the field. And look at the likes of Joe Morris and Pádraig Bailey and lads gone before, like other managers, like there was no stone ever unturned, you know. So I think last year just Pat came in and he took the reins, you know, and he knew he had a bunch there that was going to go to the ends of the earth for him. And I think, and I'm a believer in, like, if you have 15 lads who's going to empty the tank and do everything in their power to win, like, you have a very good chance. And look at it showed in this year's championship that, like, even ourselves, when we were 6-7 points down with a couple of minutes to go, we didn't fold. So we knew that we had that in our armoury this year. Even again Mullins last week, it didn't go our way, but we were 6 points down, 6-7 minutes to go, and we clawed it back to a point. So we had a never say die attitude this year.
And we have the guys that are the older crew that you mentioned there that were teammates of yours, but there are also a very solid younger crew, guys between the ages of maybe 19 and 23 or 4 that have come along while you are still able to contribute as well.
Yeah, there's a serious bunch of talent in there now at the minute, you know, ferns like Niall Murphy, Owen, Corey Dunbar coming onto the scene. You know, you've like, who else have we got there after freezing now?
Well, you've Owen Murphy and
Owen,
Rory Scallon, and
we've Owen, we've Niall, we've Rory Scallon, we've Connor Scallon. Like, the talent is endless, and we've young Connor O'Toole there. He's only a chap, he's a sub. We've a good bunch of lads even coming on again now next year.
It always seemed like Owlert, Ferns always kind of had from the low, you know, the lowest age groups right up along, always seemed to be a kind of conveyor belt.
Yeah. Bringing
on new players all the time.
Yeah, and I think what, getting back to the question, what was different maybe of winning the championship this year, I think what was different this year was we actually had a panel. Yeah. And we had subs there as well, so, you know, once you take off a lad and there was someone going in, we weren't weakening the team at all, like, so, and there was a great mix of young and old and experienced hurlers there to just push us over the line this year.
And back to you then, Caroline. Was it a difficult decision for you to stop playing?
No, not really, because I struggled with the balance of having kids and, you know, my mum had passed away and I didn't have that support system, you know, that unconditional person that you can maybe leave the kids with and it's okay. So I didn't mind really. I let Benny go on with his and let him focus on his, and I just minded the kids, happy enough doing it, and I enjoy every second of it. So I've no regrets anyway.
There's never really been an evening come along, like, God, I'd love to go and play a match tonight or anything.
Well, we do the Gaelic for mothers and others in Oulart, and Benny is training the women there one night a week. We do it of a Thursday night, so I do that like social football, and it's really good to get out and about and you get your hours exercise in and you meet other ladies. So I'm content and happy enough with that. So
absolutely, fantastic.
And you're the manager of that, Benny?
Yeah, great bunch of ladies, and just on Caroline there's sometimes now I just have to blow the whistle and let her know that it's non-competitive. You know, there's no contact, but I really enjoy doing it. It's great. It's great
to be in the community, giving back, and just, you know, getting to meet all the ladies, and you know, it's really good fun.
And do both your kids play? Are they both starting off? Are they playing now in Oulart? I know Michael is.
Michael loves it. Yeah, under 11s there now at the minute, and Mary Kate is under 8s, and Caroline coaches the under 8s, and sure, Mary Kate's excelling. Yeah, what she sees Michael doing now, she's picking up as well. So they're both loving it.
At home too.
Oh yeah,
mental.
Out with the hurls.
Was there ever any? I suppose you're living in Oulart, but was there ever any awkward conversation about whether to play with Oulart or Ferns or anything, Benny?
Yeah, there was. There was often awkward questions, but sure, I always knew the answer. So.
And you never considered, you know, as the years kind of went on, and you weren't getting the senior medal, you never considered transferring to Oulart, no?
No.
No. Sorry, Ferns people.
And it was worth hanging on, wasn't it?
It sure was. Yeah. Definitely was.
And how, from the time that you would have started playing adult, which was probably 99, 2000, somewhere around there, Benny, I'd say, was it? What would be the main differences in the way the teams prepare themselves?
Yeah, there's a big difference now. I think I'm after doing every kind of strength and conditioning, running and training there is. Sure, back then it was, I remember, just laps of the pitch, and then you go straight into a match, and you could run 20 laps of the pitch and then hurl for 2 hours. So the training was totally different, and no lights, and like the standard and the progression over the years has been just unbelievable, you know.
Probably in nutrition and diet and everything now.
Yeah, sure. There was no nutrition. There was nothing. So, you know, I was lucky enough to start back then, and with the likes of Eamon Scallon, and now I'm hurling with his 2 sons, and there's been a big progression and change in the training ways over the years. Yeah.
I suppose, did any particular coach, for either of you, start with you, Caroline, any particular coach over the years or player really inspire you?
Well, sure, the coach, you'd have to say Margaret Lacey. Sure, she was the backbone of the Camogie, and she still is there. Sure, she was over me when I was 14, and I still think she's involved with the 14s. And she has her tournament going, so Margaret, without a doubt, was the coach. And players would have been Fiona Dunn, Liam Dunn's sister. She was every girl wanted to be with Fiona, so without a doubt, she was the top-notch player that time for us to look up to.
Brilliant. Yeah. How about yourself, Benny?
Yeah, the coaches back in the day with me would have been the likes of Pat Byrne of Ferns, Shamie Murphy, who would be James Thompson's grandfather, and my own father would have been involved a lot as well, and sure, had Joe Morris as well, underage, great coach as well. So we've been blessed with many good coaches over the years. Yeah.
And what about any player in particular from your own club that would have inspired you, that you would have went out and maybe tried to emulate what they were doing? Or
no, I never said that I went out to emulate, but the one lad that I would have remember coming onto the scene back in the day, and all, Eamon Scallon or Niall Maguire or these lads, you know, or Eddie Cullen. So I would have been standing in the pitch looking at them, and next thing I was hurling alongside them.
In terms of family life then, have you any sort of goals or bucket lists of things to do, or is it hard to find time when you're sort of so busy, Caroline?
Yeah, well, when hurling season kicks off, it's hurling really. Even summer holidays don't have to be squeezed in. Or we were away this year and he had to come back for training, so it's kind of priority the hurling is. So maybe I'm waiting till he retires.
Any word on that, Benny? No, you're staying going for another while?
Not yet, I've a title to defend.
So then maybe we can book a big holiday. But sure, look.
Maldives or somewhere.
Yeah, it's your life and that's your goals, so.
Yeah.
It is a little bit easier for the club player now though, Benny, like 15 or 20 years ago there could be any match put on at a fortnight's notice, a club championship match in the middle of the summer if Wexford were off. Whereas now, you know, at least you know it's not until July or late June and you have a little bit more time, or you can plan a little bit better.
Yeah, no, now you can make your calendar and work around that, you know, and like Caroline said, like everything revolves around the GEA calendar, not only for us but a lot of players and families. So yeah, it's okay once you know what's coming up and you can schedule around it, you know.
And we've been speaking all about GEA so far, or mostly about GEA so far, but you have other interests in terms of sporting interests as well, Benny?
Yeah. I'm a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Richie Ivory. I took that up about 4 years ago now, and it was just called in for a quick session and kind of stuck at it and just loved the sport, just loved the buzz and just like that feeling, yeah. Now
there'll be people watching this will not have an iota of what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, so you might give a brief overview of what it's about.
Yeah, it's a martial art, chokes, strangles,
punching people.
No punching, all wrestling, and yeah, no, I love it now. I'll be now that the hurling is over, I'll be back into it now, full throttle.
Is it a very disciplined sport? You know, they say boxing, you have to be very
Yeah,
disciplined.
it's very disciplined sport. It'll humble you. You'll walk into a gym and you won't know what to expect, and you'll see the little guy in the corner of the room taking off his glasses and folding his clothes, and next minute he's putting on a brown belt and he's choking you out 10 minutes later. So it's a very disciplined sport. It'd be great for kids and ladies, and it's very disciplined and just helps you in every aspect in life.
And did you, boxing is big in Ferns, did you box when you were?
Yeah, Caroline loves getting on to me about my boxing career. I think I have more defeats than wins. Yeah, no, I did, sure. I went back, I boxed underage, and then I just went away from for years, and I got a notion then to go back training at 26, and I think I boxed till I was 31, so I'm kind of lad, if I go into it, I go all in, whether I'm good or bad.
Yeah. And do you have any other interests, or if you were told in the morning you had to take up another sport even, what would you go for?
I quite enjoy a holistic end of it, yoga, that kind of thing. That would be, I would got Benny to do a lot of stretching. I was always telling him he was so stiff, so I would really be into like yoga and relaxation therapies, thing like that. That's my other interest. Yeah.
Very good. You might take that up and give us another lesson here
someday. Yeah. No, it's true. It's really important for GA players nowadays to be flexible and prevent injuries. So I'd always have him out on the mat and out rolling, and he's not very flexible though.
They do a lot of teams now, even.
Yeah, up until I met Caroline, I never drank a bottle of water and didn't know what yoga was.
Oh, you just couldn't believe I was
that is the truth.
I was in place of the water.
Red Bull.
Busy dreams.
Honestly,
I was like, what are you doing? They have to go.
Yeah.
Get that water into you.
Would you be mindful then at dinner time at home, like of what would be on and what would be would there be certain demands and things that you'd be looking for, or certain things that you'd cut out of a diet or anything like that?
No. Whatever Caroline cooks and has ready is there to be it. I don't dare ask or say, will you put this on for me? So I know not to do that. But no, there's no dieting with me. I just eat normal and eat lots of spuds and cut out on fizzy drinks, sweets and chips, and that's the only way I'd mind my nutrition.
I suppose for work for so many years, there's no point changing it. Too much, body go into shock.
Yeah, no, look at even if I'm in work, like I just get the sandwich the carton of milk and the mug of tea. Like I genuinely don't be getting the chocolates or the potatoes and that's only in the last couple of years. Like so, yeah.
You mentioned work there, Benny. What is it you work at?
I'm in with Mooney Furniture and Design, fitting manager. So we do bespoke kitchens, and we're also the only distributor in Wexford of German kitchens. And it's a busy time now. Once the hurling is over, the overtime kicks in with work, so he's delighted anyway. Owned by a Harriers man, Dave Mooney.
Oh yeah. And Caroline, during the day
I'm at home with the kids now, yeah.
full-time job in itself, I'm sure.
It is. It's a full-time job. You're getting ready for training, dinners. It's a... Mammy's have it's the hardest job at all, to stay at home, yeah.
You mentioned earlier when we were talking about your camogie that you played a little bit for Wexford.
Yeah.
Did you have any memorable days in the purple and gold?
Yeah, we got to the All-Ireland minor final, played Galway. I would have been on the team with Mary Lacey, Una, there was Josie Dwyer. I went on to play junior, and then things just changed at home, and I don't think it was my priority as much anymore. So I kind of took back a little bit step from that, and my love for the game kind of stopped a little bit. But then I got going again with Oulart senior camogie team. They were my club, and we won the first. I was on the first ever team to win a club championship. So
what year was that for the
I think it was
benefit
2001. I think it was, and now it's 2022.
2022.
Yeah, the 15 now.
Yeah.
And you won 5 in a row that
oh
time.
yeah, 6, yeah.
6 in a row.
Yeah. Went on. We got 2 Leinsters. Sure, we were. I was just. They bet Glen Oulart did in the recent county final, and I know Chloe Cash, and I was just saying to her, you get betting so many, don't give up. You mightn't think it's going to happen, but someday you will get one. And look at the girls have won 15. I think they've 3 All-Irelands. Like, it's unbelievable. Yeah, what the girls went on to do.
Yeah. And the real role models.
Oh, without a doubt.
Girls in sport,
Yeah. The way Mary had baby, came back,
Absolutely.
like, absolutely super fit still. Like, they really are great
I
for.
think she was 5 weeks or something after her last baby. She
and
came
there
back,
she is, and
didn't
you wouldn't to look at her like you wouldn't even know she had a child.
Yeah.
Super fit.
Yeah. It's amazing, like great serious role models for
Unbelievable. It's great for women and young girls, and in the club as well. Sure, the little ones idolise them.
Yeah.
We had them down there with the under 8s. We had an end of season, and we had the cup down. And sure, that's what you want to see when you're, the senior players bringing that. Sure, that's what you're going to aim for then.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And Benny, you would have worn the purple and gold a few days at different levels as well. What are your standout memories from those?
Yeah, I heard a lot of intermediate with Wexford, and I won Leinster. I think my first time in intermediate was back in 2009 maybe, and then I was kind of consistent then for the next couple of years, and then I was called into the Wexford panel then by Liam Dunn, so I was in there for a little over a year as well. So it was a great experience, yeah.
And when you look back on that, is it a thing that you were sort of, I suppose, happy to be involved, or disappointed that you weren't more involved? If that makes sense.
No, sure. Look at how many lads that just love to be involved, to be there. Yeah, I played a few games, bit of league, and played a good few practice games against some of the best hurlers in Ireland. So I'm just grateful that I can say that I did get the opportunity and I was picked on merit. So yeah, I'm grateful for how it went.
So is there anything left on the bucket list? Not in life now, we go with sport first.
The bucket list?
Yeah. Anything left
No.
to achieve?
No. One day at a time.
That's right.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Absolutely.
What's the best piece of advice? You can even confer on this if either of you can't think of it. But have either of you ever received a very good piece of advice that sort of just really hit home with you?
In life and sport.
Life or sport, yeah.
Look, in life and sport, like, you're going to have a lot of down days. Same as hurling, football, soccer, or life in general. but there'll always be that day where it was all worthwhile to push through the negativity. And like, look at all the years that I've played hurling for Ferns and lads writing us off and coming up again, the likes of Owlert when they were unbelievable in their prime, and eventually then we got that one county title. So yeah, it's just hanging in there and pushing through the storm.
Yeah, never give up. That's what we were always told at home. Sure, the only way you fail is if you give up, so just keep going, just keep trying. And it just proven there with Benny, like he waited. He was in watching Eldred lift the cup many a day and being on the other side of it. So if you just don't give in, your day will come and you will eventually get
there
there.
were some funny days in your house, probably. Your brothers?
Yeah, Peter and Eamon, yeah. But I think you marked Eamon down in Buffer's Alley one day, didn't you?
I
They
did,
were cutting
yeah.
lumps.
How did that go?
Well, 2013 would be the obvious one, that
Yeah.
when Owler played Ferns in the final, and that was quite a close encounter, really.
Yeah, the last minute, I think. Didn't you run up the field with the ball?
Yeah, I was soloing
Yeah.
through on goal and Paul Roach pulled me down. Clothesline. A
Yeah.
very effective free to give away. It was a close game, yeah.
Yeah, I think, was it possibly Paul Morris had a shot saved very near
Paul
the end?
Morris had the shot saved then, yeah. It was a difficult angle and
Yeah.
30 bodies in front of him, so it was always going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, that was a special one for Eldred. It was the 5 in a row.
Yeah. And a lot of people might have thought that was, Fern's chance. And then to come along this year then, I suppose, so many years later. And
Yeah, sure, look, 2013, I remember going in off the field that day and saying to a few of the lads, like, look, we'll build on that now and we'll come again next year. But that next year was 9 years later, like, so it's, as I said to lads this year, it's one thing winning a championship match on the day, but winning a county title is just, it's not easy,
And that next year itself, 2014, Glenbarntown did everyone a favour, I suppose, by beating Owlert. And was it the Shelmaliers beat you in the semi-final then with a really high-scoring game, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were in the dressing room, yeah, and I'll never forget, someone came in shouting and screaming, Owlert's being bet, and he was ran out of the dressing room. And so look at Glyn won that one, and then we had a great game against the Shells, and everyone was thinking then, sure, look at this is Fern's year, but Shells beat us then on the day as well, so look at any can happen on any given day.
And just going back to this year, when the final whistle blew, this at the final this year, can you put into words what it felt like, after so long?
Dizzy, I'd say, because you ran around in a circle and fell down. So that was
some people they were running around, and some people were just on their knees crying. What did you feel? What did you feel? Do you think, was it relief or?
Yeah, well, I remember waiting for a few seconds first, and we were getting ready to take the puck out, so I made sure to tell Eamon Furlong. He said it was the last puck of the ball. So yeah, look, when that whistle went, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I don't think it's still fully sunk in, like what we've achieved. Like, we've always been chasing that goal, but when that final whistle did go, I remember saying what I was going to do, but that didn't happen. I did run around in a circle, then just fell to my knees and just landed on my back, and I think I cried a bit as well. So yeah, it was a great feeling. Yeah, very special.
Yeah.
And Caroline, on the days that you would have won finals, when you look back on them now, is there one that's more satisfying than another?
Yeah, it's one in Belfield when we beat the Martins. I just distinctively remember that one because I had a good game. I do remember that well. I remember, I was playing wing forward and I played well. So I think the games that you play well, you remember. That would have been one of my highlights.
Was that your first?
I think that was number 4 or 5. I can't really remember, to tell you the truth, but I do have just. That one stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we probably skipped past the most important question of all. Where did you first meet and how did it all start?
Sure, I'd have to thank this exact spot, Wexford Park. That's where Benny. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a match in Glenbarntown that morning, and Morris and Johnny asked me was I going to the park, and first I said no. Next minute I was in the stand in Wexford Park and seen her walking down then, and the friend request went, and Took her a few days to accept, but once she did, we never looked back.
Okay. And your first date?
First date was in the hurling pitch in Ferns, a free taking competition, which I let her win.
So he says anyway. I'm convinced I won it anyway, so to this day we still have that argument.
But as you said, just
I let her win that day because I wanted the second
the
date.
second date, yeah.
I'd redeem myself.
And you've been married then for a few years, Caroline?
Yeah, 6 years now in February, yeah. We're married 6 years.
And here's to many more, hopefully. But we've one more question for you, Caroline. It's probably a difficult one. Or maybe it's not so difficult. If Owlert are playing Ferns, who are you supporting?
Oh, well,
Penny's playing.
look. Well, I have to say, once you put on the jersey, it's hard. Yeah, do support Owlert on the day, but I always wanted Benny to have a good game and, you know, play well. But it's very hard when your heart is in the club not to want him to win. But yeah, he always played well anyway, so.
You wear red to a match, you're safe enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was easier this year though, because Owlert were intermediate and Ferns were senior, so it was very enjoyable to watch the boys win their first title.
And when your young lad will be playing against Ferns, who will you be supporting?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
young lady, I should say as well, of course.
Yeah, no, sure. They're after been playing matches already, and sure, look at once you're invested in a club or a little team, like you just, yeah, it was weird. All right, up in Ferns when Owlert played Ferns in a Shamey Murphy tournament. But yeah, sure, of course you want your own young fella to do well and his little teammates. So yeah, Owlert on the day.
Well, that's a good, I think a good place to finish, and we'd like to thank you both for your time and coming down here and being the first guests on the couch. I think you've been very interesting to listen to over the last half an hour or so, and we wish you many more years of happiness together.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
We'll have you back for your 10-year anniversary.
God.
Thanks, lads. Thank you.